most places I go.
The board has been tremendous. I mean, initially it was an ask, give something, like contribute more. But I've actually gotten so much from participating in it. One, it's given me a front row seat to see how other leaders operate, how they handle their roles and their challenges. Two, it's deepened some of those relationships with people who I knew pretty casually, and we had friendly relationships. Now it's kind of cemented that. And then three, I'm really learning a lot, not just in the context of the board, but actually getting to know these people, how they conduct their lives, how they conduct their businesses, how some of them have exited. So really, really interesting stories, and I get to actually take all of that in. It's been really valuable.
I've been everywhere. I literally, it's my 6th or 7th GLC. I should stop and count that, but I've been to Frankfurt. I've been to Macau. I've been to Amsterdam. I'm now in Hawaii right now. Last year I was in Singapore. They're held all over the world in a different space. It just so happens it's in Hawaii this year. But you get that opportunity to travel, and you get that opportunity to interact with 18,000 world leaders, world entrepreneurs. One of the coolest things about EO is that I can literally pull out my phone and I can pull up a list of the 18,000 people around the world in every single chapter. And if I want to go to Russia, or literally when I dropped into Nicaragua, I got off the plane, sent out a couple of emails. Within an hour, I had been invited to be on a yacht in San Juan del Sur, out on the bay, with my entire family, with an EOer who sells his number one businesses. He's the biggest coffee supplier to Starbucks. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
So I think the most amazing thing to me about EO, like one of the most impressive things, is that the culture is extremely consistent across the organization. So when you come here to Hawaii, you take the 120 people in our chapter, and now you get to hang out with 16,000 people like them. And you can sit down at any meal, go out to any party, go to any learning event, and you just meet all these crazy cool people. Like, for example, I sat yesterday in my president's training, I sat next to Kostas, who's the incoming president for EO Greece. And he's just such an amazing person. And I'm gonna get to see him when I go to the Regional Leadership Academy in Greece later this month. Yeah. And it's just like, in what other organization would you be able to sit down, talk to someone for half a day, and be like, we're great friends now?
Right. And then you come to the next year and you run into these people again, and you've got this network of people all over the globe that you can tap if you need them. Yeah.
So last night I was so every year Canada House puts on an incredible party. Mm-hmm. And last night I was hanging out at that party with a bunch of the people from EOLA. And I know them because they invited some of the other West Coast people to come on a trip that they were doing before last year's GLC. Mm-hmm. So I actually went with them last year before GLC to Nepal, where the local Nepal chapter welcomed us and helped us set up an amazing experience and really made us feel like part of their chapter. And then we all went to Annapurna together. And so I got to see all those amazing people here last night.
I think if there's one thing, and this probably applies to both EO and EO Accelerator, is beginner's mind. Sort of assume that maybe you don't have all the answers. And as a starting point, that's a really, really great way to access the knowledge that's available in the other members, that's available through the coaching or the mentoring programs. If you come in thinking you've got it all figured out, that's really not a recipe for success.
And you have a personal transformation that you decided on in part from EO. So talk about that.
It's not even in part, John. It's 100%. So, in EO, we talk about getting to your 5% and being really authentic and focusing on the nugget of things that really matters. And so I was driving. I was actually coming home back to Seattle through the mountains. It was so beautiful. The sun was setting. It was November. And I was thinking to myself, in my personal life, I'm really unhappy. And I was like, maybe it's that you don't have the right relationship. Maybe it's that, and I was like, keep pushing, get it to your 5%. And that was when I realized that I really wanted to start a family. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to use kind of EO mindset here, that doesn't necessarily, what is the true world of possibility if I was setting up the perfect system to work for me. And what I came to is that I really wanted to find a co-parent who would be an amazing parent with me, and who I had a great relationship with, but who I wasn't necessarily romantically involved with. And then I went to Thanksgiving that year, which we host a party in London, and I was telling them about this transformation. And
A friend of yours' place in London.
A friend of mine's place in London, and I was telling them about this transformational thinking. And my lifelong friend, Martin, who's a gay man, lives in London, he's fabulous, was like, how come you've never, would you consider me? And so the two of us started a journey, a very intentional journey of co-parenting, and we just matched with our surrogate. And amazingly, the owner of our surrogate agency has also now joined EO.
Which we're excited about. So it comes completely full circle. Yeah.
It's just the people who are in the organization talk about it a lot, myself included, because it's such a huge part of what is making us happy and involved and out in the world. And so I think then you just I cannot shut up about how much I love it.
So there's so many people that go through life not discovering or being honest about what would really make them happy. And you got to that. You realized what that was. And not only that, you didn't sit on it. You did something about it. And you're on that journey because of you.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that we're in an organization where everyone's doing such amazing, transformational, innovative things that it doesn't even feel
crazy.
No, it doesn't feel crazy at all.
No. Everyone else is doing it.
Everyone else is doing it too. And it's been, one of my biggest support systems through this whole journey has been my forum. So they're the people who, when I'm having doubts or when I have ideas I need to get off my things that I'm worried about, they're one of the first places I go.
And there's an immediate connection, there's immediate understanding with the training that we all go through for Forum and Gestalt and just experience sharing. And there's an immense respect for those people because you know that they're on the same playing field as you. They aren't just a gun for hire running a company. They're somebody whose blood, sweat, and tears go into that company. They've built that company from scratch. Many people have their own mortgages and all their net worth in that company. And that's a very, very different mindset from the gun for hire that I sort of was when I worked for Oracles and Genentechs of the world as as CFOs and the other companies that I took public as CFOs. So you really are amongst your peers and you can learn a lot from that.
And let's talk about some of that transformation because you have a big personal transformation, which is on the horizon right now, but also first on the business side, you went from working your butt off basically to, I tell people, my friend Catherine, who I lose track of how many places she's traveled to because you are all over the globe having these amazing adventures that I'm jealous of.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to Argentina on Friday.
Yeah, see, there's another one right there.
And then on to Patagonia, and then I'm going from Patagonia to Greece for the Regional Leadership Academy for EO.
Well, the Catherine in 2019 was not doing any of that.
No, I was
So
not.
how did you get over the hurdle to get to the point where you have a business that allowed you to do that?
Yeah, I was in 2019, when I joined, I was still at the place where I would be awake at 11 o'clock at night doing stuff for the company myself. And I still felt really siloed. And most importantly, I felt really burnt out. And I have this notebook I use for EO, and the very first page says, it's okay to just quit. And that was not about EO. That was my mantra to myself, you can walk away if you have to from your company. And I had this dream. My dream was I'm going to quit my company and I'm going to go work at Starbucks in Elko, Nevada. That was the closest place I thought to the Bay Area, where you could afford an apartment on your Starbucks salary.
Got it, okay.
So that's the level of burnout we were at. And when I joined my forum, we were talking about this, and on one of our first meetings, my first meeting with them, and someone was like, would you be willing to do a deep dive on this at our upcoming retreat? And I said, I would love to. I'm so burned out. And so Pascal Zuda was my coach. I still remember our first call. And so he coached me through talking to my forum about the problem. And then they all shared the places. I mean, it just makes me emotional even thinking about it, because at that moment I was so burned out and I thought I was the only entrepreneur who ever felt like that. And these were 10 amazing individuals who have really impressive careers and companies who are telling me that they all felt that same way too. And then they shared with me the things that they did and the mantras that they have to get themselves out of that place. And one of the strategies, we kind of call it the chocolate cake plan. And it's about how to delegate more in your business and how to get to the mindset of delegating more in your business. And I've been able to now use that. So I would say on my actual business that I joined EO with, I spend maybe an hour or two a day, tops.
Wow.
And
you have a separate firm also?
yeah, so that allowed me to then I set up a new law firm that works on global anti-human trafficking cases.
Something you're passionate about.
Yeah, something that has allowed me the space to actually turn my career back into something I really care about doing. So.
Yeah.